Well, hello there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a nice day wherever you are at. And today we have something different for you. I'm going to be talking about strategies. So, strategies you can think of as a shorter version of guides. So, I'm just going to put them on the same playlist. But they are meant to be like just sort of like a smaller version of guides. The guides are in some more deep dive, and they are way longer in terms of length. The video strategy is just gonna be like a couple different points, maybe 5 main points or 6 if I am feeling generous, I guess. So this time we're gonna be talking about Mayhem Strategies. But before we get into the topic, I'm going to remind you that I have a Discord, and if you haven't joined, you are welcome to join there. We have a pretty nice community of people that are very enthusiastic about this game, and we're just talking about it like maybe not 24/7, but pretty close to 24/7. We are definitely very active in there. So if you want to join, have the link down below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. The number one thing that I want to talk about, which is why I'm on this screen, is going to be equipments. Okay, some of these equipments that you can see, the rares, like when you are at a certain point in your journey as a player in this game, you're going to be seeing a lot of these rares pop up, and you have some of them that you can upgrade for perception or craft. So these stats are going to be very important in Mayhem, so you might want to consider holding on to some of these. Also, you might want to consider upgrading your stash. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. The next point is going to be champions. In the same way that you can upgrade the storage for these equipments, so you can hold more of them and use more of them, you can also do the same with champions. Okay, you can upgrade your champion storage. You can throughout time, of course you're not gonna do that like in one sitting, but throughout time you can maybe get to the point where you have like over 1,000 champions or something like that. And at some point as well, so might as well say it, you could probably, maybe not in the beginning, but when you are far along with your main team, the team that you want to use in this game, when you're very far along and satisfied with where your team is at, you might want to consider doing some leveling. So you could level some of them and link some of them, right? This is one thing that you can be doing in order to get more champions that can do the things that you need them to be doing. Like this even works for notice board. So if you have a lot of champions with high stats, meaning that they maybe have some extra equipment you have lying around, or they have high perception and crafts, you can use them for notice board tasks, and they might be able to free your tougher champions too, so you can continue to use them in other areas of the game. So let's move on to the second point, which is going to be scan the world. Scanning the world is very straightforward. This recommendation is going to be mostly for smaller accounts. Smaller accounts are going to be benefiting of this feature because they can just go into a raid like this one and just throw a guy in there, die, go down, and then get 1 contribution point. That 1 contribution point could lead to rewards that look like this. They are probably most likely going to be lower if other people are involved, but you know, the less people that are involved, the higher the reward. Yeah, you can get soul stones, you can get EXP, or you can get, let me see if I can get lapis. Well, I haven't gotten lapis in this time, but you can get lapis. So the third point that I want to touch on is going to be exploration. So you're going to be doing these explorations, and you're going to be letting the raids expire. So I'm going to be getting a raid here. You can see I have a couple of them already stacked. I could just let them expire. And as you can see, as I just showed you, you know, these failed. It says failed right here. They give you some kind of reward. As you can see, I got 240 lapis. If I actually decide to do the raid, if I have enough time throughout the day to do the raids, I might do them, might decide to do them. I get the double the amount. That's 480. Not everybody can finish these raids, so if you are maybe not a super small account, because a super small account cannot even explore a high tier exploration, you cannot do this. If you have like a very small account, you cannot do this level 4 explorations. So if you have an account that is just big enough to do these explorations but not big enough to complete the raids, you could just let them expire. You're gonna get somewhat decent rewards. So let's move on to the next point, which is gonna be plundering. Okay, I'm gonna be explaining plundering to you guys. You might want to pay attention to this one. You see it says 36 right there. Let me show you what happens here. So since it says 36, I estimate that I might get anywhere from 45 to 47 lapis as the end result. Let's see if I'm right. Well, I was a tad shy of that. I said 45, 47. So let me explain how this works. In general, if the mine in question has enough lapis available to distribute, because these rewards, they come straight from the mine that is being plundered. It doesn't come out of thin air. It comes from that mine. And let me tell you how I know that. Well, first let me finish my explanation. If I go into another one, let me see. This one is very good. This one's 35, so I should be getting anywhere from 44 to 52. Yeah, 44 to 46, something like that. As you can see, I have 1014 in terms of craft, which is that number in the bottom left corner, 1014. That stat, about 1% of that stat is the amount that I expect to get if the lapis is available on the mine. Let's see if I can get it now. Okay, somebody else completed it, so I wasn't fast enough. Also, one thing that I have to say, it has to have this plus sign right here. If it doesn't have the plus sign, it doesn't work. You only get bonus when you have the plus sign. I got 86, the amount that the mine had originally was 73. So yeah, I got a little bit more from this one. So I got like 2 extra. So there might have been, sometimes the amount of lapis increases with time, so it might have jumped to 74. So if I get plus 11, which is rounding up that 1% number, rounding it up to from 10 to 11, yeah, 74 plus 11 would be like 85. So pretty close. So I think like the 1% rule is kind of close enough. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more, sometimes it's going to be a little bit less. But first, where does this all come from? Well, I don't have any active mines, but if you were to have any active mines on here, you would go to the log, the equivalent of the log. It has a log button here for the mines, and it would say whether you have been looted or not. So I don't have any ones to show you, but if I did have, it would be there. So the next thing that I want to discuss, which is doing other people's raids. Okay, if you have the time available, actually this strategy is mostly for people that haven't been able to be consistent in terms of doing explorations. If you haven't had a good amount of exploration throughout the day, then you can just go scan and go in and do other people's raids. Now, there might be some limitations to this, like you have to have a high level account. If you don't have a high level account, then you're not going to be able to complete the raid. So it's not going to be a strategy for smaller accounts. It's mostly for accounts that can beat most raids. Otherwise, you might run the risk of that raid just failing and you just wasting your. You're still gonna get a reward, as I already showed you. But you know, if you're gonna do that strategy, you have to at least get something decent out of it. In my humble opinion, I think it might not be worth it to just do it on purpose, like the first strategy. So the next point I want to touch on is essence. Okay, if you are doing all of these activities consistently, if you're a heavy mayhem grinder like me, you might not have a lot of lapis. As you can see, I only have 2,500, which isn't a lot, to be perfectly honest. I used to have a lot more than this, and I have basically grinded myself out of essence. So what do I do when I need more essence? You go here. I wouldn't be, so you want to buy this one that says exploration support package. Okay, it costs basically like 2 gems per 1 essence, the same price that is on the store over here, the same price that is on the estate shop. There's nothing here because I bought them earlier, so I cannot show you, but it should be the price of the essence in here should be 2 gems per essence. Now, if you don't know where all this stuff in the estate shop comes from, I'm gonna give you a nice extra tip. It all comes from these tasks you see over here. You can see that this column says estate offering, and if you complete this task, for example, you get 18 essence that go in here. They go in here where it says storage. and then your estate lord or your vice lord or your executives can just add them to the shop later. So you can buy them over here. So if you want, if you want to grind, what you want to do is grind these tasks with essence, and then buy when reset happens. You want to buy the ones in here. So do both, because if you don't do both, then you're not uh, you're not helping yourself fulfill the goal that you have, right? You can do pretty much the same strategy with any other item. If you're grinding any other item, like you just do the tasks that hold that item and then buy the item from the shop. So you get from two sources. You get from the task and you get from the shop. You can pretty much do it with anything. I'm just mentioning it because we're talking about essence here. But yeah, you might want to do some of these tasks. They are pretty decent, you know, even though like people like only doing these ones down here. They only like doing the ones that have the enhancement stones, and they fight over them. But let me tell you, you should probably be doing, you know, a lot of the other ones too. They are pretty good. Anyway, with that said, I think that wraps up this video. I hope you like this type of short form, even though I probably kind of overdid it a little bit, talked way too much. So yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up, and if you like the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you on Discord if you're not there already.